My arms and legs fidget uncomfortably in the straps binding me to the cold metal chair. As I look up, I see a small metal table bearing nothing but a pen and a sheet of paper. Across the table opposite from me sits another chair, although empty. My eyes rise up from the chair, finding nothing more than a locked door. I look around the blank room, the plain white walls void of anything save a large mirror on my right. Security cameras hang overhead, watching with silence as the speaker sits in anticipation above the mirror. "Attention Subject 7. A voice blares as I whip my eyes to the now breathing speaker. "Today's experiment will require 2 participants. If we suspect any collaboration outside the experiment, you will be terminated. Do you understand?" I nod. "The experiment will also require 2 impartial witnesses. If you use your mark on them, you will be terminated. Do you understand?" I nod again. "Good. Subject 22 will now enter the chamber." My eyes snap to the bolted door as I hear a metal click. The door opens as a blindfolded girl, flanked by 2 armed guards, steps through the door. The guards escort her to the chair. As they sit her down, they move her arms and legs into position as a set of automatic braces tighten around them. After the guards triple-check the restraints, one of them moves to remove the blindfold, both of them taking extra care to not be in her sightline when he does. The second the blindfold is lifted, my hand pounds with an excruciating pain that stops as abruptly as it started. "Oh, sorry," a voice whispers in my mind. I didn't mean to." I look back up to see the girl's timid eyes hiding behind long white hair, remorse dashed in her silver irises. "7, right?" Her voice echoes in my mind, but just as I'm about to nod in response, she interrupts with panic. "Wait!" she blurts with a badly masked fear. "If they know I'm talking to you like this, we'll both die." "I can hear your inner monologue just fine though," she says in my head with a mental simper. "Attention Subject 7 and 22. The speaker cracks to life again. "Before you there is a sheet of blank paper and a pen. Subject 22 will receive a code from an exterior source. As it does, it will tell Subject 7 what to write on the paper. Do you understand?" We both nod to the speaker. "Good. The conduit experiment will begin in a few minutes." As 22 and I look back towards each other, her thoughts reappear in my mind. We sit in silent thought for a moment before she begins to speak. I'm scared, 7. I haven't seen any other subjects for a while." "Yeah, I think they're being moved to another facility," I respond with resignation. "It feels a lot emptier now." "Yeah," she thinks in likeness. "I miss 12. He was funny." "I miss him too." "Of all the people to vivisect, they picked the only one of us who couldn't regenerate," she utters with a guided venom before the speaker spits to life again, catching our attention as we both glare at it, fracturing our minds in 2 again. "The signal is being transmitted. The experiment will now commence." As she looks back at me, I can hear a cry of pain emerge in her mind as she becomes deathly rigid, agony in her eyes. "The pen! The pen!" A shallow headache appears in the recesses of my mind as I look over to the pen and it begins to move. I move it above the paper where it sits in stasis as I hear white noise leak from her conscience. "Alkali, right, alkali! I can't breathe." I move the pen to write with as much speed as I can without ripping the paper. I don't want to die. 125 Celsius, 0.75 ceramic. Her own conscience falling silent as the code overcasts her sentient thoughts. 1275, paperclip 70, ultimatum 11, midnight, citadel 520, quicksand, Petrograd 9022, heptagon Zimmerman. The white noise grows louder as I write every word and number she sends to my head, sweat dropping down my neck as I strain the pen across the sheet. The guards watch in complete stasis, though visibly tense, almost seeping a shallow fear. The eerie silence of the chamber drowned out by the deafening cacophony of tortured screams pile-drived into my mind as I feel blood roll down my nose and ears. Eventually the code ends as I begin to hear the girl's genuine thoughts rise above the now silencing white noise. The page now covered in writing. The girl looks at me, her face visibly twisting with a pained remorse as tears grow in her eyes. I'm so sorry, 7. I would never. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's okay, I reassure as she desperately tries to stammer out an explanation she never needed to give. You don't need to apologise, we both know it's not your fault. Thank you, she stutters as a few bloody tears stream down her pale face. This experiment is now concluded. The speaker interrupts with cold monotony. one of the guards checking an earpiece before turning to the other guard with a nod. I guess this is it, I think. It was nice to see you again. Same. I really hope this isn't the last we get to talk. She hums as one of the guards brandishes the blindfold from a pouch on his belt. I'll miss you, Seven. Please take care. You too. I answer as the guard moves the blindfold over her eyes, ripping her conscience from my mind, leaving me alone with my thoughts again. Once her blindfold is secured, the guard then moves to me and lifts the ribbon of cloth left around the base of my neck over my eyes and retightens it. When he finishes, his heavy boot steps move towards the girl. After a second, the sound of whirring motors hovers in the air, accompanied by the sound of moving hinges as the restraints unbuckle. I hear the girl stand and the guards escort her to the door, unlocking it before stepping through. Once the door closes and locks with a muted click, I hear no more, only my own pain breathing and ambient hum of the ventilation to fill the silent void of the chamber. I used to think having another person in your head would be too much, but when they leave, you always feel so alone afterwards. Your own thoughts are never really good enough company to replace them either. As I sit in silence, the door behind me clicks as I hear a few sets of boots walk in, then a pinprick in my neck, and I slowly fade into darkness. I pace up and down the hallway, the clocks ticking, echoing through the dingy room. 11:45 p.m. Where the hell is she? I nervously thumb my phone as I call her again. Nothing. Should I call the police? What if she's been hurt? My mind races over every worst-case scenario it can find as I bring the phone back up to my face. Before I can do anything, I'm snapped still as I hear footsteps approaching the door. I turn to it and glance through the peephole before letting out a sigh of relief. I reach for the handle and pull the door open. Well, look who it is. Corey, she blurts in surprise. I know I'm late, but I swear I have a good reason this time. I notice the dark stains on her hoodie, but before I can ask about them, I notice someone standing behind her, his white eyes looking at me with both curiosity and tension as his arms sit timidly in the pockets of my old jumper. Can we talk in private? She whispers in a more serious tone. You can't stay out here. I slowly nod, stepping to the left, letting her walk inside, shaking the snow off her jacket and boots. The guy follows suit. I'll be back in a sec, just wait here, she says to the guy as she pulls me by the arm into the kitchen before slowly closing the door. Why are you covered in blood? Are you okay? I'm fine, it's his blood. Is he why you were so late? I was worried sick, Nix, you can't pull stuff like that. I know, I'm sorry, it's just I lost track of time and it got dark and my phone ran out of battery on the way back. I promise it won't happen again. It's fine, I'm just glad you're back safe. So, why are you covered in this rando's blood? He was knocked out, I had to carry him back to the car. And so you bring him here? He didn't have anywhere else to go, I didn't know what to do. I sigh as my hand runs over the back of my neck in confusion. Why not the hospital, Nix? She stutters before silencing herself to thought. I'll explain later, but promise you'll at least let him stay the night first. My hand rubs my forehead as I think over how ridiculous this whole situation is, but I couldn't be bothered to protest. Fine. I see the stress fall from her face as she nods in relief. Nix turns to the door and she walks out as I rest my head against a cupboard. The snow gathering on the windowsill like cotton as the trees sway in the distance. The clock ticks in the silence of the night, my hands resting under my head as I stare up into the dark abyss at the low ceiling. I twist to my side, trying to find any position that would be my gateway to rest, but my efforts are fruitless. I decided to give my actual bed to Seven, the decision my brother wouldn't be happy about if he knew, but honestly I would have felt bad about making Seven sleep on the shoddy spare mattress. I look through my open door as the moonlight creeps through the windows, faintly illuminating the outer room. I push myself from the sleeping bag as quietly as possible. I rise from the thin mattress on the floor and tiptoe my way out of my room, making sure to close the door behind me. I walk to the back door and push it open. taking extra care to not make any noise. I step through the door, phone in hand as I'm blasted by cold air. The wind echoes through the night as I watch the distant trees sway, the snow collecting in my hair. I step into the snow as my feet are chilled by the ice, but before I can really think about that, I notice a faint hum in the distance. I turn to look. I think I can see something hovering above a building in the distance. It looks almost like a person? Psst. I flinch, pivoting on my heels to find a blonde girl resting atop a fence. Her legs crossed as a grin grows on her face beneath two deep blue eyes. Hey Nix, long time no see. Sarah! She jumps down from the tall fence, landing on her feet with ease. The one and only, she announces with a wink. You're actually here? Yeah, I gave you quite the fright, she teases. You just down your PJs, huh? Cold not bother you anymore or something? Didn't have time and other stuff too. She looks at me with curiosity. Other stuff? You'll understand in a sec. Fine, she says with a mock defeat. So, why the invite? Oh, yeah, well, you know how you told me to not go hiking in that restricted forest? Nix! I know, but listen. Sarah sighs as her arms fold across her chest. I found something. Sarah tries to hide her grin of curiosity under an admittedly bad poker face, her interest showing clearer than she'd want to admit. Go on. Well, technically someone. Someone? You see a ghost or something? Well, it probably would be easier to just show you. I tap on my phone, swiping to the most recent photo. I turn the screen to Sarah as she leans in to look at it. Oh, you really did find a ghost, huh? Yeah, he's staying with us for the night. Oh, speaking of, can I ask a favor? Sure, what's up? Can I stay over tonight? Sarah shifts with unease. She looks at me with a message in her eyes I've read too many times. Of course, Sarah. Our home's your home whenever you need it. Sarah's expression washes over with relief. She wraps me in her arms as she embraces me in a brief but tight hug. Thanks, Nix. Don't mention it. I guess there's not much point standing around in the cold anymore. Let's get you inside. She nods as I lead her to the back door. Oh, also, everyone's already asleep, so try to be quiet. Gonna be hard for you to tell me the rest of your story now. Oh, yeah, well, is it okay if I tell you the rest tomorrow? She shrugs. Fine by me. I could use the rest anyway. I wrap my hand around the door handle, the metal freezing my skin as I twist. The warmth of the inside air reminding me of the freezing cold I'd been subjecting my skin to. I shake off the snow and step inside, Sarah following suit. I look out the small window as the treetops pass by in the darkness below. The searchlights drift along the forest, piercing the fog. I look over to the other helicopters as they glide under the clouds. The night is quiet. Snow hovers on the wind's waves like leaves in a river. The moon, a glowing beacon in the Stygian darkness of the night sky, the stars eking their meagre light through growing clouds. The sweeping mountains echo along the distant horizon, carpeted in a deep woodland sliced by occasional roadways. I look down to check my rifle. The rotors of the helicopter on the verge of gifting my ears with tinnitus. I adjust the straps of my helmet again. I can never get them comfortable. I guess I'll finally be seeing if all that tuning will pay off today. I look to my right. Jonas checks his watch again. You seem nervous. He shifts. It's just... I'm a little scared, you know. We are chasing a bioweapon, after all. I can understand his worry. I'm not exactly looking forward to it either. Well, you did sign up for this job. He chuckles. I'm just hoping that implant did its job. Other helicopters fix their lights on something. Well, we're not going to know until we find it. We're interrupted as the sergeant's radio crackles to life. Heads up, Dawson spotted something. Jonas breathes in. So do I. The helicopter screeches to a halt as the doors slide open. The frigid air tampers my skin as sweat rolls down my brow. The helicopter descends into the clearing below as we ready our rifles. The instant the bird touches down, our boots have already hit the floor and we're on our knees. Collins fires a single round, jamming on the second, but before the rest of us can pick up the pace, the figure drops to the ground. Our guns are trained on the body as it lays motionless, our eyes unblinking as tension hangs in the air, all of us knowing exactly what words we would hear next. Garner, you're up. My heart sinks, but I force myself forward nonetheless. Every step feels like my last as I violently clash with my self-preservation instincts. As I inch closer and closer to the body, I slowly start to think something that I desperately hope isn't true. The figure is clothed, in dark blue jeans and a black jacket. A dark stain erupting from his left chest as I hear laboured breathing. Nausea erupts from my stomach as I step back, my mind spinning.